Hi guys, welcome to my attempt at a Feral Druid basic guide. Admittedly, I've been kind of staying off of Feral Druid just because I like balance a lot more. Feral's in a weird spot. I know Soda Poppin plays it very well, but all he does is kind of run around and dot people, and that is generally the playstyle of Feral Druid, so that's kind of why I like Balanced Druid better. But in this video, I'll be showing you guys basic rotation, abilities, talents, and honor talents. So, starting with abilities, Rake is a damage over time. One of your main abilities does initial damage, but does significantly more damage over 12 seconds, reduces the target's move speed. While stealth, Rake will also stun the target for 4 seconds and deal 100% increased damage. Shred is your combo point generator outside of Rake. Shred the target, causing physical damage, deals 20% increased against bleeding damage, while stealth, it deals 50% increased damage and also has increased double the chance to critically strike. Swipe is your AoE kind of spam ability. Swipe nearby targets, dealing physical damage, deals 20% increased damage against bleeding targets. In PvP you don't use this much, but this is used in Mythics, I'd say a decent amount. Rip, your combo point spender. That's not Ferocious Bite. Let's get that Savage Roar shit off my bar. Pretty much at 5 combo points it does a lot of damage. Ferocious Bite, finishing move, it's like Eviscerate. However, it won't refresh. I don't know when it refreshes. I believe it's when it's below 25% health. So without this spec'd into, it deals less damage, but refreshes every time you Ferocious Bite below 25% health. With this talent, it does decent damage and also always reapplies Rip. So that's something to think about. Also, Moonfire will be in rotation with the talents I'm taking. If you aren't taking Lunar Inspiration, then you won't cast Moonfire, sorry. Your other abilities are Maim, which is a stun, Tiger's Fury, which restores 50 energy and gives you 15% increased damage. Prowl is your stealth, and Thrash is your damage over time ability, which also does bleed damage in an AoE situation. There is also Berserking. Berserking reduces the energy cost of all cat form abilities and increases maximum energy by 50 for 15 seconds. Dash is a dash. Mangle is a bear form. Shred, pretty much. And Regrowth is a heal. Rejuve is a heal. Skullbash is an interrupt. Soothe is a dispel on enrages. Stampeding Roar is an increase like dash. Survival Instincts is a damage reduction, 50%. And yeah, Wild Charge, that's not a thing. It's not baseline. Infected Wounds slows people. Your mastery is increased bleed damage. Your clear casting pretty much makes it so your Shred, Thrash, or Swipe costs no energy. Also, every time you spend 5 combo points, you will get a free Regrowth or Entangling Roots. Also, whenever you crit, you will gain an extra combo point. So that's abilities. Let's go over talents. The top row is the most flexible, I'd say. Actually, no, that's a lie. It's an interesting row. So with Lunar Inspiration, I just think it's really good. It pretty much adds another dot to your toolkit, except it's arcane damage, so it's magic damage. And it gives you a ranged bleed, which is very nice. You'll see I'm out of range, and I Moonfire him, and now he takes bleed damage. It even makes the bleed sound, which means that's even more point in case that you should be taking this talent. For the 15 row, other than Lunar Inspiration, you also have Predator. Predator's good when you kill stuff often with your bleeds because it'll pretty much reset the cooldown on Tiger's Fury. And Tiger's Fury is a 15% damage increase, so probably good for Mythics. Other choice is Blood Set. I think this is the most boring. It pretty much gives you 10% increased crit on a target with a bleed effect, which should be all the time, so personally, I really like Lunar Inspiration. However, Predator is also noteworthy, and Blood Scent if you want the increased crit. Right here, for the 30 row, either Wild Charge or Renewal. Renewal is very good for the heal. Wild Charge for the leap, increased swim speed, charge, fly to a friendly ally, all of that jazz. For the 45 row, I always take Restoration Affinity. For the 60 row, either the stun or the entanglement. Personally, I really like the stun. The 75 row is the row that you're going to be playing with the most. For PvP and kind of single target, you're going to want to run Incarnation, mainly because it makes it so your abilities act as if they were stealthed, and usually while you use your abilities in stealth, they do more damage. Rake will have 100% increased damage, and Shred will have its 50% increased damage and increased chance to critically strike. So that's the main reason people take Incarn in either arena or boss fights. Other than that, probably Jagged Wounds is going to be the best for Mythic and rating, and PvP if you don't want to take Incarn. And then the lowest of the low would be Soul of the Forest, which is very good energy regeneration, but it just doesn't live up to the other two in my opinion. However, I have been using it in like every PG since the pre-patch dropped, just because I really like the energy regeneration on it. So it's your choice here. For the 90 row, I just believe Sabretooth is the best. I've tried Brutal Slash. Brutal Slash is really good in AoE situations, so Mythic Plus this might be your choice. It does replace Swipe, so I guess this would be really good for Mythics if you want the AoE damage. Savage Roar, I just wouldn't take it. You could try it out at like the end game, I guess, and see how it is. But I do think Sabretooth will always outperform Savage Roar. And then in Mythics, I'd just take Brutal Slash. For the 100 row, it's really up to you. Blood Talent has been a staple in Feral for a very long time. However, it's been nerfed so much that it's very insignificant when you get down to like how much it actually increases your bleed damage. Your other choice is Feral Frenzy, which is now your Ashmane's Frenzy, baked into your talents. Pretty much does 640 times 5 damage initially, and then another 4,563 damage over 6 seconds, and also gives you 5 combo points. So you can use Feral Frenzy and then just get a rip automatically, and both of those will do about 10,000 damage over both of their times, which is very good damage over a short amount of time. Your other choice would be Moment of Clarity. Omen of Clarity, which is your clear casting, triggers 50% more often, actually gives us a percentage value as to how much it triggers more, which I do approve. There are some specs where it will say blank triggers more often, but it won't give you the percentage that it triggers more often at, which I think is very stupid. Please fix, Blizzard. Can accumulate up to 2 more charges, increases the damage of your next Shred, Thrash, or Swipe, and increases your max energy. This is kind of the more boring out of all of them, but if you don't really like having the min-max with Feral Frenzy and Blood Talons, then go for this talent. If you want to play Blood Talons, then go for it. Even I'm too demotivated to actually use Blood Talons anymore, so I'm sticking between Moment of Clarity and Feral Frenzy. For Honor Talents, Thorns is good. Just keep that in mind. Fresh Wound, I like it a lot. Rake has a 60% increased crit chance when you don't have Rake on the target, so if you run up to a target that doesn't have Rake on them, it's pretty much going to crit. And then I like King of the Jungle. Every enemy you have Rip active, your damage and movement speed is increased by 3%, stacks up to 3 times. However, Ferocious Wound is a very good replacement for this, especially in PvP. Savage Momentum should also be noted just because it resets the cooldown on Tiger's Fury whenever you Skull Bash successfully on a target, which will be very good for War Mode leveling because you will get more Tiger's Fury off if you are taking Lunar Inspiration and not Predator. Another thing, Tooth and Claw, increase max health, reduce damage. Maximum health while in bear form increased by 15%, and damage while in bear form increased by 30%. So, very good defensive there, just because it increases your max health. Rip and Tear, I know it sounds like it's good, but I've just never used it because it costs energy and also has a 1-minute cooldown, so that's just why I don't take it. Malorn Swiftness is good for just movement speed, and Freedom of the Herd is very good for clearing roots on targets. Also, Earthen Grasp is really good if you are going against a target who cannot dispel roots. Just something to keep in mind. And we'll go over rotation now. The rotation for Feral, I believe, is actually very boring. I could play this with one hand, just like I do Diablo, if it was still relevant. And this is the rotation, guys. You pretty much keep Break Up on your target, and keep Moonfire on your target. Whenever you have 5 combo points, you just press Ferocious Smite, and it will refresh the duration of your rip. Since I'm not taking Blood Talons, you can just cast Regrowth on whoever, And whenever you Ferocious Bite, you want at least 50 energy, I'd say, is a safe spot to use your Ferocious Bite at. And then all you do is you reapply your dots. And then you Ferocious Bite again. This is the Pharaoh Druid rotation, guys. This is kind of the reason why I play Bounce, because I think Pharaoh is very boring. If this is the mythic / raiding rotation, then boy oh boy, will I be bored out of my fucking mind half the time. So that's kind of why I play Pharaoh. I just think it's, or Balance, sorry, that's why I main Balance, because I just think it's more fun. In mythics, raiding, PvP, everything. I think Pharaoh's just very, very boring when you just look at what they do. They're like a self-healing assassination rogue with shittier damage, so yeah. That's Pharaoh Druid, guys. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up, it helps me out a shit ton. If you want to check out my live stream, it's twitch.tv/paraglasses right there. It's also the first link in the description. There's also other social media in the description as well, such as Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you guys later.